No dog sold or raised for illegal purposes. This is a historical and entertainment-based channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, yeah. Episode 39, yeah. Who has the most relevant Red Boy Jacko dogs today? Can the RBJs return to power? The mysterious case of Bailey Spooty. Let us analyze the evidence on this episode of Bulldog Court. Bulldog community, please rise. This is your host, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game.
Court is now in session.
Man. This is your boy, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'm so happy that you could join me tonight. You could have been anywhere else in the Bulldog streets, but you decided to come kick it with your boy. And I'm so happy that you did. You underdid. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on last week's episode of Bulldog Court, episode 38. And then right after we came into the live show with the Honorable Jacko and the young legend King T. I'm talking about, man, it might have been a classic. You just never know how it's gonna be on the live. And, discussing the cap, getting rid of the cap, understanding that we'll never get rid of the cap. And we might as well go ahead and join in with the cap or either make fun of the cap. Either way. Like person say, wear two caps. You know what I'm saying? Slang them off then, I guess, Like on the rodeo horse, a bunch of bulls, with the cap. But, I'd like to thank everybody who joined in, man, all the people that came and supported your boy, all the people that was in, the chat for the Bulldog Court and for the Bulldog Court Live, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all make it what it is, Oh, Get a Hold can only do so much, lay it out there for you so much, but y'all make it what it is, man. And I'm so appreciated, man. Of course, at the time, when this recording will be dropped, we all gonna be culminating down there in New Iberia, Louisiana for the South Bottom show on February the 15th. Oh man, some heavy hitters gonna be in the building. Some good looking animals will be in the building. There will be, prizes and, things that will be given away and raffled off. Man, y'all need to come on down and check it out, man. If you miss it, you better get back in on the next time around. You underdid. I'd like to thank everybody who participated this week in answering some of the questions I had for my first annual Red Boy Jacko week. There will be a series of different weeks covered of different bloodlines where I will just smother the timeline on the Sporting Dog Archive channel with different shorts, maybe some videos, some short videos talking about different bloodlines in that particular week, and we will cover a overall arching theme. This week is the Red Boy Jacko week, and this is the overall theme. We'll have everything to do with Red Boy Jacko, some questions I might have pertaining to those families, that family of animals. But we're looking at looking back at some film, some game film. For my first case, who has the most relevant Red Boy Jacko family of dogs of today? Now, when I say this, I'm not talking about necessarily performance. I'm not necessarily, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I'm not necessarily talking about, as far as popularity. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But the overall thing is just what Red Boy Jacko dogs are people even discussing about today. I'm talking about a specific family. We know we had the Tant line of dogs. We know we had, Cruz broke off with his own strand. We know that Burns broke off in his own strand. We know that Whack-A-Mole had a strand. We know that the Vols line was very much out here. The Pollock strand of animals, with the champion Mr. Termite and others, Attila dogs broke off into their own strand. There were many who were out here. But what are the ones today? We understand about Pitt Island and the Thug strand. That goes back to Tant's Red Devil, whether you believe that he is a brother to Red Devil, to AAA or not. That is not going to be a part of the discussion tonight. We're just going to go strictly off
bro, come on now, dog.
Pedigrees and looking at what we see here.
Come on, man.
I want to get everybody input on this. What about KC Coalition and the A Plus dog? I don't know if A Plus is even still around. I know Thug, because I don't think Thug is still around. He has passed on. I think A Plus may have passed on. I'm not sure. What about the stuff that came down through Bowman's Hammer back in the days? You would see dogs like maybe 7 Stars, Rooster. What about those animals? You know what I'm saying? Whack-A-Mole dogs still very much being bred today. Are there any animals that are in relevant conversation that we could bring up as we discuss this in the chat and later on in the live? I just think that this will go into my second case, but first we gotta have to, kind of acknowledge who are the major players, who are the major marketers, who are the people who trying to put on for the Red Boy Jacko family of dogs, in today. And we know that, a lot of it has been broken off into 4 ways. 4-way crosses. Red Boy Jacko just not by itself anymore, which will open up the can of worms to ask the question about later on whether or not Red Boy Jacko by itself can return back to prominence in the way it once was in the 80s. Is that even possible? Is it so much embedded with Bolio Tombstone that you really can't get it without? That's almost like Jeep with Rascal, or, Rascal will show up in some form of fashion in many, many different kinds of Jeep dogs, to the point that people tend to just ignore it, you have the jeans lug and all that stuff, and it might have a little bit of Jeep in there. It might have a little bit of Rascal Jr. Not Jeep, but a little bit of Rascal in it, a little bit of Rascal Jr. People just act like that's not there anymore. Like it's just completely irrelevant from the makeup of the dog. So is this the case with Red Boy Jacko? Is it just going to be used with Jeep Rascal as a 4-way and Bolio Tombstone as a 4-way, never to be able to stand on its own again as a relevant 2-way cross, if you would call it that? I would argue to say it's a 3-way, because you got the Lonzo blood in there. And Lonzo did have a formidable bloodline. And I'm not talking about Zebo or Vindicator. Just Lonzo on its own has had many winners off by itself, without those 2 dogs even being mentioned. We forget about Henley's Big Boy, who is in the pedigree of Grand Champion Molly B, etc., etc. But I digress. Never mind what I think in my synopsis. This is about you. And I forgot every time. I be forget. It's about you. I am not the judge nor jury, for it is up to you, the Bulldog community, to decide which way the tide may roll. So what say you, the Bulldog community? Is there another that I missed of relevancy in the Red Boy Jacko family today? Because I hear a lot of chatter about the Thug dog and the Thug family of Red Boy Jacko, regardless of how you might think it's bred. But this case is now dismissed. We'll get back to the show after these important messages.
check out one of the best dog talk shows out here, Bulldoggin' with Bo, on Dogman TV, Thursdays and Sundays 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Shout out to his co-host, Nonstop.
Yeah. And for my second case, can the RBJs return to power? You see, this is what I was saying in the last case that tallied over into this case as the RBJs standing on their own again as they once was in the 80s and 90s. And people are putting these dogs together and culminating a family of dogs just with them in mind. Because when we look out in today, in my synopsis of what I see sometimes, people are acquiring or looking for the Red Boy Jacko dogs, not to use them just as they are. They are acquiring these animals to put them with Bolio Tombstone, or with Bolio, or with Tab, or Tramp, or Gaston, or, some other, strong and formidable two-way cross that's already, doing its own thing. You know what I'm saying? They are looking to put the Red Boy Jacko back with Mayday. They're looking to put the Red Boy Jacko back with, some other, with Eli Chinaman. They are not, from just my observation, and people can disagree. Just bring your receipts on what I am saying, but it was a time where Red Boy Jacko or Yellow John dogs were sought after just for that. End of discussion. Period. They wanted Red Boy Jacko dogs. That's it. Nothing else to, no, I'm not finna go take it and put it with this and put it with that and get me a this and that. No. So can you see a scenario where that is? And I don't see, and like I said, once again, I could be corrected. I'm open for correction, open for people bringing forth receipts. I don't want to, I see some people who get in the leave comments and they just like, oh man, that's totally wrong. Okay, but you didn't tell me where it was wrong at, and you didn't say, you know what I'm saying? Where's your receipts to counter what was said? Not just saying you're wrong or, that's not right or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's not a real discussion. People say that all the time and they just want to, make an argument or something. But we about real dialogue over here at the Sporting Dog Archive. So just from looking at the landscape, I see where people who are breeding it, they are breeding it to put it with other stuff. They are not breeding it to culminate and get it back to the form that it was in the 80s and 90s. They are not trying to refine the line, is what I'm saying. They are only using it, stacking it up as much AAA, as much Tant, as much whatever kind of Red Boy Jacko, or a blend of 2 or 3 different kinds of Red Boy Jacko, and just rolling the dice on, or not worrying about that because they're using it to take into something else. And then that's when they'll get serious about how it comes out, and in which, where I take it 3/4 this way or 3/4 that way, whatever the case may be. This is what I see. And so who will be the ones, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't see those ones, unless they'll remain hidden. You know what I'm saying? I see, certain people who have had success in modern times with straight Red Boy Jacko dogs. Are they tying them back into other successful Red Boy Jacko dogs? Is it just that the bloodline has not, it's no longer what it once was and it needs help? Much like a lot of the straight Red Boy Bingo stuff, the Cadillac stuff, back in the days, it needed help. It could not get it, You do not go anywhere near the woods, with just that straight like that, stacked up with all that bingo all on top of it, thinking that you have come up with something. You might be a piece or 2 pieces off from having something worthwhile to compete with. So this is just my question that I am proposing to the Bulldog community. Can the RBJs return to power? And so, I'm even for looking at the blends of Red Boy Jacko family as the dogs. There are some other ones, other ones that I know of that I won't mention on this show, but I know of that are formidable, and even they have been taken later on, but they have kept pockets of it pure, without the Bolio tombstone in it. But then they have that kind, we know, with the, Ratliff, with the, Butkus stuff heavily, a few kennels that are very, very much keying in on the Champion Toro, families of dogs. And then, you got the Bowman's Hammer strands, that are still much around. So I think it still may be some kind of hope, in that, or it's just that those dogs are just not like that anymore. So I'm going to leave this here. I look forward to hearing your commentary in the chat. I look forward to hearing your commentary live. I look forward to hearing your comments that you leave. Shout out to all my replay gang folks, man. Y'all, hey man, y'all come up from the real man and just, bring it in for the win. So I appreciate y'all that can come check me out whenever you can come check your boy out, and the shenanigans or the synopsis or whatever you may think it is on the Sporting Dog Archive channel. So as for the case of, can the RBJs return to power? This case is now dismissed. Oh yeah. For my third and final case, the mysterious case of Bailey's Spooty. Let us look into this. When I look at Bailey's Spooty, this is unusual to me. This has been talked about before in certain contexts as far as the unusual coloring of certain Red Boy Jacko dogs. And this is yet another one that I'm finding a bit peculiar for 2 reasons. One, because of the color, first of all, just the appearance. Second of all, how it's bred is unorthodox in the sense of how we would normally see a Red Boy Jacko dog being bred. Most times we see it coming through yellow or yellow John, which is the majority of the bulk of Red Boy Jacko dogs we have seen in the world. Of course, there were some that were Fletcher Chavis and others made their own blend of Red Boy Jacko. Like for this one, okay, she comes off of Bailey's Bingo, bred to Kayak Slim Jim, and Slim Jim is off of Miller's Redman, bred to Kit Kat's Sandy, which is a daughter of Jacko, bred to his niece off of Champion Argo. So it's a Red Boy Jacko dog indeed, very much a straight Red Boy Jacko dog. But the dog came out white with black spots on it. The dog came out looking like a dairy cow. Now I don't know if it's a picture of, and then I think maybe in the quarter, it might be a touch of Wise Maximilian. So that's even more red, old family red. So I think it may have a touch of, Lady Sassy Mead in here. Now if it throw the black dog, I can say, well, I could clearly point out, okay, well, the Lonzo, that's where the black come in. That's, that's similar to Termite. The reason why Termite was black, he was double bred Lady Sassy Mead, which is some Lonzo blood. That explains the black coat. But for the dog to be bred the way it's bred and come out the complete opposite, mostly white, black patches, to me that is very unusual. And I'm bringing this forth to the Bulldog community. You know, this is the way that you study and research and the things you come across when you study and research. This is what I came across as I studied and researched for Red Boy Jacko week. I come across this dog. I'm like, man, I got to find some more unorthodox. It's going to look like Yellow Week instead of Red Boy Jacko week because everything coming through Yellow John. And I know that there are more different kinds of Red Boy Jacko. You know what I'm saying? The TJ Bosco stuff, you know, others where they took Miller's Red Man stuff and bred to the Chavis stuff, Jacko stuff. They took, you know, I knew that, Brian Bailey had got the Lacey female, Bailey's Lacey, who was bred by Fletcher Chavis, you know, heavy Jacko dog, female, and then took it and stuck it to Bailey's Bingo, a son of Red Boy. So I knew certain stuff had taken place, but where the hell this white dairy cow looking female, where that come in at? Can anybody explain this? Does anybody have some type of genetic rationale on how, what in the hell? But I mean, this is what you come across in the Bulldog world. Some stuff in the water makes sense and some of it ain't clean. So for the case of the mysterious case of Bailey Spooty, this case is now dismissed. Oh yeah. Now it's time for my closing monologue. Like I say every time, make your next move your best move. Or move strategic like a chess move. Hey man, stay active with your dogs. Make sure that you're giving them the proper nutrition they need to get their full bones and teeth and everything to grow in full like they need to, man. And then, you know, hey, if you got time, compete in some of these shows, man. Maybe I'll see you at South Bottom next year, man, holding up a trophy. But this is your host, Get a Hope James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'm out.
Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and tell a dogman or woman about the Sporting Dog Archive.